In 307 BC, during the Warring States period, a king in northern China did something radical. He looked beyond tradition, beyond borders. He put his army on horseback and dressed them like nomads. This sparked fierce resistance. He was accused of betraying everything Chinese. But in time, they followed. What's remarkable wasn't just the king's courage in looking outward. It was a shared choice by everyone to embrace change and adapt for a stronger future. For thousands of years, China has stood as one of the world's great civilizations, not behind walls, but at the crossroads of cultures. Cultural exchange here was never one way. From the northern grasslands to the southern plains, diverse peoples shaped one another. Foreign technologies, music, ideas, and fashion were welcomed and reimagined. Buddhism, Islam, and Christianity all found space alongside Taoism and Confucianism, not in conflict, but in ongoing conversation, helping to unite a vast and diverse population. Great civilizations don't grow by standing still. They grow by opening up, by listening, borrowing, blending, by evolving with the world. This is the story of China, a civilization shaped by exchange, from ancient times to the modern world. Hi, I'm Zhong Wei. I'm really into history, and I love sharing stories online. Lucky for me, some of them even became books that readers of all ages enjoy. I'm a history storyteller and writer. To me, history is human. It's about the choices people made, the bridges they built, and the walls they sometimes broke. This time, I'm setting off across the vast landscapes and long memory of my homeland. I'm looking for something timeless, the spirit of openness. Where did it begin, and how does it live on today? Every journey starts somewhere. Mine began with a handwritten letter from the Uyghur people, one of China's smallest ethnic groups.
哎，海英老师，你好，你好，你好，你好，你好，你好，你好，你好，
终于见到您了！
哎呀，
太
感谢感谢，
见面了
我收到你这个请柬，我就过来了。
济南欢迎您。
谢谢谢谢谢谢。我刚刚看了那个献亲的这个仪式啊，非常热闹。
印象最深的是什么呢？
就是那个赛马，尤其那些小伙子骑着马哇，从我面前哗哗哗过去的时候，这心情就特别激动。马是不是和你们裕固族是有特别的关联吗？
是的，跟我们的生活是息息相关的。因为我们裕固族呢是一个游牧民族嘛，我们也称为马背上的民族。
Han Ying told me something fascinating. The ancestors of the Uyghur people can be traced back to the Uyghurs, who once roamed far from here during the Tang Dynasty, herding livestock along the Orkhon River in what is now Mongolia. They moved for centuries before settling here, beneath the Qilian Mountains, a land where nature couldn't choose just one landscape, so it gave them a little bit of everything. Maybe that's why so many cultures came together here.
我们接下来可以带您去这个裕固族特色村寨。
哎，海英老师，你的裕固族的名字叫什么？
我的裕固族名字叫吉亚森。
吉亚森。
对，说的很标准。
是什么意思呢？
意思就是我的父母亲呢，希望我有一个好福气、好运气，这个意思。
就是好运这个意思是吧？
对。
那裕固族它有自己的文字吗？
很遗憾，我们的文字已经失传了。现在我们所有的民族文化都是通过口口相传的这样的一个形式流传下来的。像我的孩子呢，在幼儿园、在小学的时候都有上裕固族语言课。这里就是我们的少数民族特色村寨的瑶儿部落。柯老师您好，
您好，您好。
这位是我们的国家级非遗传承人柯翠玲老师。
这样啊！今天刚刚我们在旁边看的时候啊，就觉得哎，这个仪式非常的热闹。这是一个什么仪式呢？
我们做这个传统婚礼的仪式，玉姑族呢结婚的时候才会戴这样的头冕，这样的帽子，它是非常高贵的一个感觉吧。
对，这样的装饰品，这些呢都是我们的父母一点一点积攒起来的财富，所以我们的头面也被叫做可移动的银行。
都是很珍贵的，
都非常珍贵。
那新郎新娘在你们结婚的这个传统仪式里面是穿白色的衣服的，是吗？
我们不穿红色，穿绿色、白色、蓝色、玫红色。我们说像云彩一样的漂亮的衣服。那么绿色呢，就是我们带着生机、带着希望，走进了新的家庭。我们下面呢还有一个明之宴，我们要请你们远方的客人去参加。
太好了，正好肚子有点饿了。
认不出来了吧？下面呢，我们这个先要喝茶。我们的羊肉来了，看到了没？
厉害！
草原上是大口吃肉，大碗喝酒，
很过瘾哈。
这是我先生，旁边是我儿媳妇。我们家是一个民族大融合的家庭。我的女婿是个汉族，儿媳妇是藏族。我们两个是玉姑族。
苏南县其实这样的一个民族大融合的家庭是很多的，很普遍的。苏南县是3万多人口嘛，
对，
有21个民族，除了玉姑族之外呢，还有汉族。蒙古族、回族、土族等各个民族，也是一个大民族的融合。像苏南县，它其实也是咱们甘肃省这个多民族融合的一个缩影。我们非常熟悉的这个伏羲大典庆典仪式，每年的6月，全球的华夏儿女、炎黄子孙呢，都会在这一天去祭奠人文始祖伏羲。在这个仪式当中呢，大家也能感受到华夏文明，
对，有个共同的认知，就是我们都是炎黄子孙。
是的，然后从中呢也可以汲取到力量。
The banquet always ends with the toasts. Spending time with them reminded me, China isn't just one story. It's 56 of them. This land is home to 56 ethnic groups, one of the most in any country. Together, they weave a cultural tapestry as vast and vibrant as the land itself. And just like cultures blend, so do beliefs. Which brings me to my next stop, a small, ancient town in Xinjiang that traces its roots back to the Tang Dynasty.
任老师，你好，我是张伟。你好。这些队员们现在是在开掘什么呢？
这是我们2024年的一片发掘区。通过我们对结构的判断呢，综合来说，我们推测为整个佛寺遗址的大门。整体的结构也是我们在新疆地区见到的一种比较典型的这种佛寺遗址。
Locals in Chitai have known of these ruins for generations, but only since 2018 did excavations confirm what they were. This was once Polei County, part of Tingzhou, one of 3 Tang Dynasty prefectures in today's Xinjiang. Archaeologists uncovered a 500 square meter Tang-style courtyard and a 300 square meter public bath with a distinctive Romanesque layout. And Buddhism wasn't the only faith practiced here. They also found an Nestorian church.
前面这条坡道呢，就是原来景教寺院的一个西门，它的年代大体上是高昌回鹘时期。而咱们前面这处建筑呢，其实就是景教寺院的一个主体建筑，就是咱们理解的这个教堂。这个墙面上原来也都绘制有壁画。现在我们已经接取到室内了。综合判断，我们推测它绘制的就是耶稣的这个形象。比较有意思的是，就是当时耶稣进耶路撒冷，按照圣经的记载，他是骑驴进的耶路撒冷。对，但是在这个传入我国之后呢，这个壁画中绘制的这个耶稣形象就变成了一个骑马的形象。从驴到马，其实是表现了一种宗教在传播过程当中一种中国化的一种演变。
就是我觉得很有意思。那么在这样一个边陲小镇，就出现了一个佛教和景教并存这个现象。
整个天山北路地区，它是在这个山和这个沙漠之间存在一条绿洲廊道。唐朝墩古城遗址呢，就成为了一个丝绸之路东西交流的一个很重要的要冲之处。很多不同的人群在这里往来，所以说带来的不同的宗教在这里并存，反映了当时整个天山北路地区呈现的这种多元共存、思想文化繁盛的这样一种社会场景。
Most people think the Silk Road was all camels and desert. But ancient China also sailed and connected to the world by sea. From ports like Quanzhou, ships set sail for India, Arabia, even Africa. This was the maritime Silk Road, where trade, taste, and cultural stories rode the waves. And it was every bit as epic as the one on land. That history shaped Quanzhou, and they don't call it a living museum of the world's religions for nothing. Quanzhou was where the world once met, and still does.
哎，丁馆长，你好，你好，你好，你好。我是张伟，你好，你好。
Right in the heart of Quanzhou, Kaiyuan Temple has been here for over 1,300 years. It looks super Chinese at first glance. But step inside, and you'll start spotting some surprisingly exotic touches.
代表泉州这个宗教多元并存，那为什么开元寺作为代表呢？
咱们泉州开元寺有多元文化融合的奇观，这里面有2个很有意思的东西哈。首先是大雄宝殿里面的五方佛，这个是密宗的规制。另一个呢，就是大雄宝殿有印度教的元素融合在里面，天花顶上面有24尊的妙音鸟，我们泉州本地人都把它称为飞天。
飞天，
它同时呢又融合了基督教的天使，还有敦煌的飞天。飞天的手上捧的东西有各种各样的。有的是笔墨纸砚、文房四宝，
它也是结合了中国本土的这个了。
还有就是他手捧的乐器，所以我们都笑称说，哎呀，这些飞天都可以组成一个南音乐队。
对。
在大雄宝殿后檐有2根16角形的印度教石柱。它是非常典型的印度文化和中国文化的一个结合，融合的非常好。那我去过2次那个印度，就专门去看印度教寺庙，把我们泉州发现的这些构件石刻跟印度教寺庙的去比对，非常有趣。除了这个我们融入了
猴子这个没有
以外呢，那些印度教的神话传说的体现和雕刻艺术一模一样。
Now check this out. China's tallest surviving twin stone pagodas, standing just 200 meters apart. Each one's 5 stories tall, octagonal, and built to look like traditional wooden towers. They're covered in expressive carvings, with 160 figures in total.
你看一下这些佛像有没有看出来哪一幅有所不同，跟其他的雕刻？看得出来吗？
有一点点残损的，是你指的是右边那个？
对，右边的这个，是不是有点像猴子？
对，是有点像猴子。
对，但是我们泉州人都觉得特别逗的，就无形者的形象会跟这些佛像放在一起。
为什么呢？
有的学者说，孙猴子的原型可能是来自于哈努曼的这个形象，有没有一些什么样的关联呢？现在无据可考，但是比较有趣的是说，印度教的神猴跟我们中国的孙行者。在泉州相遇，
不仅相遇，篆刻在了这个石塔上面。
Quanzhou's temples are not always grand or imposing. Many are tucked right into the city's historic neighborhoods.
Just a short walk from Kaiyuan Temple, down West Street, and around a quiet corner, we'll visit Daga Gong, literally, Big Brother God.
神灵不怕巷子深啊！
转角遇见神。传说当中呢，这个大哥公是一个孝子。听说他母亲生病的时候就非常着急，赶紧要回家去那个探望母亲。结果呢，城门关了，他母亲过世了，
没有看到，
所以他就嚎啕大哭。他就是变成了一个非常喜欢哭的一个神灵。民间的这些民众呢，把他保护起来，建了一个小公庙供奉他。这个就是大哥公的一个传说。
Whether it's local folk beliefs or gods from foreign lands, the people of Quanzhou treat their deities like friends. Perhaps that's why so many gods are willing to settle down in Quanzhou. We took a ride to Tumun Street, a must-see spot. Along this 1-kilometer stretch, a historic mosque sits side by side with Confucian and Taoist temples as neighbors.
这边就是关帝庙。我们也叫做关岳庙，祭拜关公和岳飞的道教的寺庙，所以它的香火非常的旺。 像我们前面呢，再往西200-300米那边有一个清净寺，阿拉伯文就记载了建这个寺庙的时间是在公元1009年。那从我们文献的记载，建筑的构建可以发现，当时的泉州应该有6、7座的清真寺，后来只有这一座保存下来的。对，
真的很有代表性。
Back in the day, Quanzhou port wasn't just busy. It was buzzing. Ships sailed in from over 100 ports. Sailors, traders, adventurers from all corners of the world landed here. And many stayed. Trade doesn't just move goods. It moves people, and it moves minds. Now I'm leaving the coast behind and heading inland to China's southwestern edge. This is where trade sparked a different kind of magic. For centuries, horse caravans crossed these hills on the old T-Horse Road. And less than 100 kilometers from the border with Myanmar, there's a quiet village with a not-so-quiet past. Believe it or not, this peaceful little town was a trading hub and military outpost way back in the Ming Dynasty. Yeah, that's over 600 years ago. But walking through it feels almost like stepping into a Jiangnan water town. Except we're nowhere near the east. But then I spotted something unusual, a Chinese-style building with a Western flair. What's the story here? To find out, I turned to someone who knows this place inside and out.
寸信呢，可以说是最早走一方的。他在建盖宗祠的时候呢，就运用了西洋风格。我们所看到的样式呢，就是叫罗马式建筑。
In the Ming Dynasty, soldiers came to secure the border and built this town as their home. Hershuan has 8 ancestral halls, with its Swoon Ancestral Hall being the first. The family traded in Myanmar and brought back unique items for their hall.
这座祠堂是不是这座古镇上面风格最特殊的一个地方
啊？也还不是，最特殊的还是我们的湾楼子民居，体现的就是我们和顺近代商人，而且是富商的居民生活。
为什么要叫湾楼子这个名字？
湾楼子呢，是因为它的这个房屋样式沿着巷道的曲线而建的，所以叫湾楼子。
哦，就是在外形
外形是弯的。
啊，这里面别有洞天啊！
The Li family, one of Hershuan's wealthiest, founded a cross-border trading company. Inside, you'll find Western treasures, iron windows from England, clocks from America, and glass from Italy, reflecting their wealth and a mix of cultures.
这个东西有点意思啊。
对，可以猜一下这个是什么？
哎，我看这上面有点像电磁炉那一圈圈，它是不是个炉子？
哎，对，准确来说呢，应该是一个西式的一个烤箱，上面就可以比如说烧水啊，做饭啊，烤面包，还可以做咖啡。像我爷爷那一辈就很喜欢喝咖啡，哎，所以和顺人就有非常西式的生活习惯。那么接下来我带你去看一个很重的大家伙。
哦，好。哦，这是个账房。对，
这是个账房。对，这个就是一个保险柜，将近有2吨重，2吨重。对，金条、贵重的这些翡翠原材料、宝石呢，就放在里边。而且呢，是弟兄3人3把钥匙，那3把钥匙同时在一起才能开，
谁也不能擅自来开，
对吧？对。那这个也是体现了当时家族的一个商业庞大。永茂河商号呢，也是我们腾冲5大商号之一，那一度成为了我们和顺近代首富。 腾冲的商人呢，他不仅是置身在商业，同时还置身在政界、学界，乃至他还要承担当时的社会责任，进行教育各方面的投资。学堂的新建当时的和顺先进的这一部分人呢，才会去集资修建和顺图书馆。
Hershuan has a rich past, but if you ask the locals what they're most proud of, it's this place. The Hershuan Library. Built in 1928, it's the oldest and largest village library in China. Famous scholars left their mark here. And with its courtyard and quiet charm, It feels more like a college campus, a lasting symbol of how deeply this little town values knowledge.
你好。这个图书馆真的是非常好啊，而且我看这里是非常明亮，都是有这个玻璃窗。
我们要求它一个宽敞明亮的一个阅读环境，所以我们的先人就从海外订购了这些玻璃窗，包括图书馆这个名词，都是一个舶来品。因为在中国里面就有一个藏书楼，
藏书楼可能是自己家的，对吧？不对外开放的。
对。
图书馆的话，它就对公众开放，
就对任何人开放。1928年产生的影响力很大，所有的人都会到里面来摄取知识。因为那个时候摄取知识的方式方法，也好，信息手段很少，只有看书读报，所以这个地方每天都是读者坐了满满的。如果里面依然是坐满了以后，他们就会把坐到外面的台阶上。
可以想象当时读书氛围肯定很好，
这个读书氛围一直没有变。
那这个图书馆最重要的东西，这个书当初是从哪儿来的呢？
这个书它的来源就藏在我们这副长头对联里面。
对，这里有副对联：书自云边通气阔，报来海外起群黎。我想想看啊，从这个字面意思来看啊，我猜啊，这个书是不是当时是从外面带过来的？
对，你猜对了。书报来自云边海外，这就是当时第一批藏书。这个是上海商务印书馆出版的2套大型丛书。第一套丛书叫《丛书集成》，第二套叫《万有文库》。原来我们的图书从上海订购以后，交付轮船运到香港，通过马六甲海峡运到两广，再用马帮把它拖回来。就是放在这个木箱里面。
绕那么大一圈运过来。
对，看着挺远，但是那个时候1个半夜就能到达和硕。如果走陆路的情况下，3个多月。
Tucked in the mountains, this place might seem far from the world, but it's always been open to it. Trade arrived on horseback, books crossed oceans, and a small village welcomed big ideas. That spirit of openness runs deep in China. And to see where it all moves even faster, we're heading east to a city known around the world, Shanghai. And I grew up there.
This view always wows every visitor. Over a century of change in one frame. From the iconic Wai Baidu Bridge at the Bund to Lujia Zui's skyline rising across the river, it's a striking symbol of Shanghai's openness and rise on the world stage. Heading east along the Huangpu River, this area was once the cradle and powerhouse of China's early industry. Today, it's the world's largest preserved belt of riverside factories. And right here stands China's first modern water plant, still running strong after 140 years.
吴厂长，你好，幸会。不瞒您说啊，吴厂长，其实我从小是在杨浦长大的。换句话说，其实我就是喝杨树浦水厂的水长大的，但是我从来一次也没有进入过杨树浦水厂，很好奇。
那我带你去参观一下。
太好了。
Walking through the plant, you can't miss the buildings. They look just like a British castle. Built in 1883 by British investors and designed by engineer John William Hart, this was China's first modern waterworks and the biggest in all of East Asia at the time. On August 1st, 1883, the first tap was turned on. From that moment, the plant grew right alongside the city and once supplied a quarter of Shanghai's total water demand.
1号车间，它是1881年开始建造，然后到1883年建成，投入使用。
换句话说，它其实是清朝建成的。
对。
吴厂，我其实挺好奇的，就是当时这个自来水厂它是一个什么样子？
用一个词来表达啊，就是波光粼粼。它整个的水厂都是水池，
对，
也就是说它基本上没有什么建筑物的。这是我们厂里的清水机器。
清水机器名字挺可爱的。
当时时候是英国人建造的包括我们还有阀门也是英国人建造的。所以当时这个厂建造的时候呢，大部分的设备都是乘船漂洋过海，然后到厂里来，通过我们慢慢的把它改造、吸收、改进，把它变成我们自己的东西。
其实我也很感慨，因为我知道这个水厂其实已经有140多年的历史了。那您是一个30多年的老水厂人了，那您的感想是怎么样的？
因为小的时候呢，我也不知道自来水从哪里来的。自从进入杨树浦水厂以后，回到家里，我把水龙头打开的时候，那个时候我就在想，啊，这是我自己做出来的品质，我是非常放心的。
After a short walk, I reached the old shipyard. Back in the day, shipyards lined the river. Now, most shipbuilding has shifted to the city's coast, where the vessels are much bigger. But in this spot, you can still feel the heartbeat of that proud industry. And this is where I meet third-generation shipbuilder who joined the yard at just 17.
葛老师，您是哪一年进上海船厂？
我是1978年，改革开放刚开始的时候，那个时候绍兴轮，中国第一艘出口的万吨轮啊，就那一年完工的。船下水啊，是一个很隆重的一个仪式，我们都是像过节日一样，特别自豪。
可以想象，当时这块地方肯定是非常热闹的吧？
浦东呢是一个总厂，这里是一个分厂，我们厂里有一个轮渡。
哦，内部的一个轮渡。
对，上海。就是我们独自一家。
哦，葛老师，现在走到这个天台上，这个1号船坞和2号船坞看得很清楚。
对，
这个1号船坞现在是承担了那个长江口2号的考古的这个研究，是吧？
对。长江口2号古船，我这是看着它进来的。我觉得这个船坞过去是修船的，现在有一个古船到这里来以后，把历史和现实融合在一起，非常好的一个创意。
一路风风雨雨，其实你见证了这个上海船厂的历史。上海呢，又是要打造这个国际航运中心。那你作为一个老上海船厂人，你觉得站在此时此地有什么感想吗？
国际造船业的皇冠上的3颗明珠呢，都是在上海的造船企业在建造。我们的造船工业通过引进消化国外的先进技术，经过我们自身的努力和不断的研发。培养了一大批的造船的大家，创造了很多的新中国的第一。我们现在已经处于世界的领先，我很自豪。
Standing along the Yangpu riverside, we're looking at a place where Western industrial civilization first left its mark on China, making Shanghai the birthplace of modern Chinese industry. Shanghai is the very definition of openness, a city as vast and welcoming as the sea itself. It's a place where East meets West, where the past flows into the future, where traditions spark innovation. It borrows from the best the world has to offer, while staying firmly rooted in China's own deep and rich heritage. It's through this constant exchange between Chinese and global cultures that Chinese civilization has grown stronger and gained fresh energy for the future. In our journey today, from the riverbanks of Shanghai to the far reaches of China's western landscapes, we traced a remarkable story. There's a beautiful saying in Chinese, Maotai grows mighty because it does not turn away a single grain of soil. The rivers and seas become vast because they welcome every stream. From the ancient Silk Road to today's global networks, true greatness lies in openness in a world without walls.